Hi, in this Groove workshop, I'll show you how to use the SVG library on groov.com to make your own custom graphics for your Groove project. Now this page represents something that you might find in a typical process or application. It has all the info you need. It's got temperature, pressure, flow, an on-off button for the pump, and a pump status light. It's okay, but I think having some graphics would really help to make this project stand out. Like this. All these graphics were built using the SVG library. Let me show you how I did this. To get to the SVG library, go to groov.com and under the Support tab, click SVG Image Library, and here we are. The SVG library is open resource. Anyone can go here to customize and download a huge number of pre-made graphics to use in their project. The goal is to continue to add more and more images as people suggest them. So, if you have a suggestion for an image that you'd like to see added to the library, I'll provide a link at the end of this video where you can submit a request. Now, what is SVG? SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, which means you can scale the image up or down without losing resolution or quality. So you can see if I go back to my Groove project and I resize the screen, everything scales without getting jagged edges. Back here at the library, you can see that I have a bunch of categories. If you wanted a building or a door or some other architectural feature, you'd find that here. Let's go and get that tank image. That's here under Process Manufacturing. Scroll down, there it is. Now you could just download this as is, or you can modify it to be just the way you want. I don't really like that gray, so I can change the color by clicking on one of those predefined low contrast or high contrast color schemes, like this blue one. That looks pretty good. Now I can further customize that down here. First I need to bring up those colors by clicking on Get Colors from Image. But the highlight is still too light, so I'll just change that to something more like this. Now I can change this light color to something a little darker. That looks better. To see how that'll look, I click on Apply Color. Perfect. I want to save this color scheme so I can apply it to other graphics. To do that, I'll click Temporarily Store Color Scheme. Now all my images will match and look unified. Back up here at the top, I can stick with the default name of Tank 1, or I can change it to something else. This is useful if you have a bunch of tanks and you don't want to get them mixed up. I'll call this one Tank 1 Blue. Hit the download button and click OK. I have my browser set up to save files to my downloads folder. Now let's go get the other images for my project. I'll go over to my sensors. There's the flow meter that I want. I'll apply the same color scheme. The name is fine, and download the file. Here's another sensor. I'll throw that in while I'm at it. Hit Apply Colors. That looks good, but it's facing the wrong way. So click Rotate, and there we go. Hit Download, and OK. And one more thing. I need my pump. So pumps are filed under Field Devices. Scroll down, there it is. And like the rest, I'll hit Apply Colors. And again, I'll rotate the image. There we go. The name is fine, so I'll just hit Download and I'm ready to add these to my Groove project. I'll change the tabs here in my browser and go back to Groove. Switch to Groove Build, and I'll open this new tank page so I can show you how to add those images. But first I need to load those graphics into my image library. To do that, I go to Configure, Image Library. Click on Add New Images, navigate to the images in my Downloads folder, select all, click Import, OK. Then I'll go over to my Gadgets palette and drag over the image gadget. Up here I'll click where it says Image, which opens the image library. There it is, Tank 1 Blue. Now I'll just grab my value gadgets and move them over to the side. Move it over. Adjust the size of my tank. There we go. Now for that sensor. Drag over another image gadget. Find the sensor image. There. Move it over. Now I'll right-click and move it to the back. Next I'll bring in the flow meter. Drag in another image gadget. Select the image from the library. There it is. Resize and move it over here next to the tank. And the last thing is to bring in the pump. Drag in another image gadget. find the pump in the library. Here we are. Resize it a little and put it next to the flow meter. And there we go. I'll move some of these down a bit. Now for the handheld page. I'll move these over here, then select these and drag them up. Put these off to the side for now. Then I'll move my sensor over here, resize a little. I'll put my flow meter here and the pump here. Resize a little. I'll put my pump button and indicator gadget like so. Now I'll just grab my value gadgets and move them over to the side. And I'm done. Let's save and switch to Groove View to see how that's going to look on a desktop or a tablet. Great. And notice if I resize the page, everything scales as it should. Now let's check it out on my phone. Perfect. There you have it. I was able to build this custom scalable page without using any complicated or expensive graphics software in just a matter of minutes. If there are any devices or elements that you would like to see added to the SVG library, send us an email to training@opto22.com. Thanks.